WAN architecture. WAN stands for Wide
Area
Area Network. That means a network that extends over a large geographical areas. Area like between cities, or between states, or between countries. Basically, we can say WAN is used to connect geographically separated lands. Geographically separated lands. So this is what is WAN. Suppose we have an office in Delhi. We have an office in Mumbai. We have an office in Chennai. And we have an office in Kolkata. So in Delhi, this is a LAN in Delhi. In Mumbai, this is a LAN in Mumbai. In Chennai, this is a LAN in Chennai. And in Kolkata, this is a LAN in Kolkata. If we connect these offices together, or we can say if we connect these geographically separated lands together, that is WAN. That is WAN. Internet is a very common term, and internet is also a type of WAN. It is also used to connect offices, sites, data center together. But the main problem over internet is security. That's why VPN is used to create private WAN connections over internet to secure data. As we know, internet is a public or shared network. Internet is a public, or we can say shared network. So now we start different WAN technologies. WAN technologies. The very first we have leased line. Leased line means we can say a private or a dedicated connection that is used to connect sites together. That is leased line. Suppose you have a head office and you have some branch office also. This is branch 1. This is branch 2 and this is branch 3. Now you want to connect all these branches to your head office using leased lines. These branches, suppose your head office is in Kolkata and your branches are in Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai. So you use dedicated leased lines between head office and branches. So these are leased lines. This is the leased line between branch 1 and branch head office. This is a leased line between branch 2 and head office, and this is a leased line between branch 3 and head office. If you consider this particular topology, this topology is also looks like a star topology. This topology is also look like a star topology, where head office is the central device and branches are other device connected to head office. But in WAN, the star-like topology is known as hub and spoke topology. Hub and spoke topology. In WAN, in LAN, it is said star topology, but in WAN, it is known as hub and spoke topology, where head office is the hub or the central office is the hub, and these branches are the spoke. This is hub and these are spoke. The main advantage of this topology is, you can say, traffic or network can be controlled from a central location. From a central location means from this hub, or we can say from head office. From head office we can control both the traffic or network. Basically, there is no dedicated wiring between these two offices, head office, between head office and branch 1, or between head office and branch 2, or between head office and branch 3. Actually, in between we have service provider. Actually, in between we have service provider. Then the diagrams looks like this. This is head office. This is branch 1. This is branch 2. And this is branch 3. And this is service provider. So this is a dedicated line between head office and branch 1. This is a dedicated line between head office and branch 2. And this is between head office and branch 3. In earlier days, serial cable is used for leased lines. These connections are serial connection. Or we can say serial cable is used for lease lines. In earlier days. In serial connection, layer 2 encapsulation is either SDLC or triple P. But now lease line uses optical fiber cable. Now lease lines uses optical fiber cable. And the layer 2 encapsulation is Ethernet. That means these connections were serial in earlier days, but now these connections are optical fiber connection. What is the disadvantage in serial connection? So before we move to disadvantage, in serial connection, we can say in serial connection, various standard provide different speed earlier. Like we know all about T1, it is 1.544 Mbps. T2, it is 6.312 Mbps. T3, it is 44.736 Mbps. E1, it is 2.048 Mbps. E2, it is 8.448 Mbps. E3, it is 34.368 Mbps. T1, T2, T3, these terms are used in North America. These terms are used in North America. And E1, E2, E3, these terms are used in Europe and other regions. So, what is the disadvantage? In serial connection, disadvantages are higher cost, higher installation time, and slow speed. All these disadvantages are override in fiber optic Ethernet connection. All these disadvantages like higher cost, higher installation time, and slower speed are override in Ethernet fiber optic connection. That's why in today's network, those who are still using leased line using optical fiber Ethernet connection. I hope leased line is clear.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt?
No, sir.
Then we move to another WAN technologies, that is Internet VPN.
Okay, sir.
Internet VPN. We know already that Internet is used to connect different sites together. Internet is used to connect different sites together. Suppose this is internet. You have a head office in Kolkata, and you have some branches in different cities in India. This branch 1, this is branch 2, this is branch 3. So in this case, internet is used to connect different sites or different branches together. So all these sites are private sites, as we know, and we also know that this internet is a shared public network. Internet is a shared public network. That means everybody is using this network for their own purpose. So data must be protected between sites. Data must be protected between sites. Suppose branch was is communicating with head office. There must be some confidential data. Those data must be protected when we are using internet. For that reason, IPsec VPN tunnel is used between sites to protect data over internet. IPsec VPN tunnel is used between sites to protect data over internet. Another important WAN technology is MPLS. MPLS. It's a very common term, very popular term. So we can say MPLS stands for multi-protocol level switching. It is a shared infrastructure. It is also a shared infrastructure like internet. That means many people can use it. It is also used to connect sites together. It allows to create VPN over the MPLS infrastructure. Between sites. That means we can create VPN tunnel between sites over the MPLS infrastructure. So there must be lots of MPLS customer. Everybody is using the same shared infrastructure. So labels are used to differentiate the traffic of different customers over the shared infrastructure. There are some important terms in MPLS. Important terminologies in MPLS like C router, or we can say customer edge router, P router, or we can say provider edge router and or P router. provider router. So how Mpls diagram looks like? Suppose it is R1, it is R2, it is R3, this is R4. Basically, this is the service provider Mpls infrastructure. This is the service provider Mpls infrastructure. Suppose you have a branch here, another branch is here. Branch or site, you can say site also. So you are using Mpls to connect your two sites together. So this is actually CE router, customer edge router. This router doesn't use Mpls. These are directly connected to providers Mpls infrastructure. And these are P router, provider edge router. R1 and R3 in this diagram are provider edge router, and R2 is P router, provider router. R2 and R4. Basically, this network is Mpls network. Where Mpls is used, both provider edge routers and P routers are using Mpls. Now we can say, we can add in this point also that Mpls is called layer 2.5 protocol. As its header sits between the IP header and the Ethernet header. Labels are used to make forwarding decision. In this case, in case of MPLS, not the destination IP, only labels are used to make forwarding decision. And we can say C or customized routers do not use MPLS. PE and P routers use MPLS. Now this Mpls VPN can be categorized as layer 3 Mpls VPN and layer 2 Mpls VPN. A layer 3 Mpls VPN and MPLS, we can say Mpls VPN can be layer 3 or layer 2. Now what is the difference between layer 3 and layer 2 Mpls VPN? In layer 3 Mpls VPN, the C and P routers peer with each other using routing protocol, suppose like OSPF. The C and P routers using OSPF between them and the C and P router using OSPF between them to share routing informations. They from peering using routing protocol or using static route. So this is layer 3 Mpls VPN. Here between C and P we have some routing protocol like OSPF. Here we have some routing protocol like OSPF. So this is layer 3 Mpls VPN. But what is layer 2 Mpls VPN? In case of layer 2 Mpls VPN, we can say C and P routers do not from peering with each other using any routing protocol. CE and P routers do not from peering with each other using any routing protocol. Instead, service provider infrastructure connects these two C routers together. Now, the IP address must be in same subnet between in C routers. The IP address of this interface and the IP address of this interface must be in same subnet. Basically, in layer 2 Mpls VPN, this service provider Mpls infrastructure appears as a switch, and these two branches are the two end users connected to that switch. So this is the basic difference between layer 3 Mpls VPN and layer 2 Mpls VPN. Now there are different technologies can be used to connect to service provider Mpls network, like serial, Ethernet, wireless. Different technologies are used to connect service providers Mpls network, like Ethernet, serial, wireless, etc. The choice depends on customer. The choice depends on customer. Now, let us discuss about different internet connections, different type of internet connections. Different types of internet connections. Like leased line is a type. Mpls VPN can be used to access internet. CATV, DSL, Ethernet with fiber optic. These are the different types of internet connection we can use. Let us discuss about two common and popular term, DSL, digital subscriber line. In DSL connection, it is your ISP. ISP stands for Internet Service Provider. A single connection from ISP then split into two parts. Actually, this is the modem. This connection goes to phone, and this connection goes to internet. So this is DSL connections. And now what is cable internet connections? Cable internet connection, that is also known as CATV. Everything remains same. This phone is replaced with a TV. In both cases, we have seen that a single connection is used for two different types of signals, either one for TV and internet or one for phone and internet. Internet connections must be redundant, either in office or our home. Internet connection must be redundant. That means if you lose your one connection, you must have another connection to access internet. Internet connectivity can be categorized as single homed, that is one connection to one ISP. Dual homed, that is two connections to one ISP. Single multi-homed, two connections to two ISP. Dual multi-homed, two connections to two ISPs each. So your internet connection must be redundant. Now the last part we will discuss Internet VPN. Internet VPN. Basically, Internet VPN is used internet VPN is used when we want to connect sites together over internet. We have two sites and we want to connect these two sites over internet. Then internet VPN is used. As we know, internet is a shared network. What we can use? Either a site-to-site VPN using IPsec or remote access VPN using TLS. TLS stands for Transport Layer Security. So first we discuss site-to-site VPN. Suppose this is the internet. This is your site 1. And this is your site 2. Both sides have a internet connections. Now, between these two sides, between these two sides, a VPN tunnel is created over internet. A VPN tunnel will be created this is the VPN tunnel between these two sites. Now the original IP packet is encapsulated with a VPN header and a new IP header. The original IP packet, suppose site 1 wants to communicate with site 2. The IP packet from site 1 is encapsulated with a VPN header and a new IP header. But in case of IPsec, when we use IPsec, the original packet is encrypted before being encapsulated. The original packet is encrypted first before being encapsulated with the VPN header and the new IP header. That makes IPsec secure. That makes IPsec secure. The main problem in IPsec is that IPsec doesn't support broadcast or multicast. IPsec doesn't support broadcast and multicast. This is the main problem over IPsec. IPsec doesn't support broadcast and multicast. And this problem is solved by using GRE over IPsec. Solve is GRE over IPsec. Otherwise, we have to create full mesh tunnel between many sites. Full mesh tunnel between many sites that must have configuration over it, and we have solutions also that Cisco's Dmvpn solves this issue. Dmvpn stands for Dynamic Multipoint VPN. So this is the IP packet. This is the VPN header. And this is new IP header. And this IP packet must be encrypted. Now, what is GRE? GRE stands for Generic Routing Encapsulation. Generic routing encapsulation. It creates tunnel like IPsec, but it doesn't encrypt the original packet. GRE doesn't encrypt the original packet. It supports broadcast and multicast messages. Now, GRE is used with IPsec for enhanced security, or we can say better security. original packet is encapsulated with GRE header and a new IP header which is then encrypted and encapsulated with an IPsec VPN header and a new IP header. That means this is your original IP packet. This is GRE header. This is IP header. This is IPsec VPN header. This is another IP header. Now this part is encrypted. The red part must be encrypted before being encapsulated with the IPsec VPN header and a new IP header. Now what is Vmvpn? Dynamic multipoint VPN. Advantage: it allows to dynamically create full mesh IPsec tunnel. Suppose this is your hub and these are your spoke. we have to configure IPsec tunnel to hub site. Now, hub router gives each router information about how to form an IPsec tunnel with the other router. In spoke router, we need one tunnel configuration with hub router only. Now, spoke routers can form tunnel with other spoke routers directly without traffic passing through hub. We don't need to configure full mesh tunnel between these 6 sites. Now, the last topics, that is remote access VPN. Remote access VPN. Advantages: allows PCs, mobile phones to access the internal resources of a company over internet. That means you are sitting in your home and you are accessing your company's internal network to do your job. This is the best example of work from home. It uses TLS or transport layer security. So, TLS also provides security for, we know, HTTPS. Formerly, it is known as SSL or Secure Socket Layer. VPN client software must be installed in end devices. Like Cisco AnyConnect is a VPN client software. End devices form a secure tunnel to the router or firewall, that is also known as TLS server of company. This is remote access VPN in brief. Suppose this is your company network. internal network of company this is a firewall or router. This is internet. And this is a end user. Sitting at its home. Now this end user creates a secure TLS VPN tunnel. This tunnel is TLS VPN tunnel, which is secure, and this tunnel is created over the internet. So this is all about your WAN architecture as per your CCNA syllabus.